Well, hello there. Welcome back to WRTV. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, it's March 18th, right?
March 18th.
Wow, it's crazy. It's getting so close to the
Month
end of the
is flying by.
Yeah, the year's flying by.
Year's
really.
flying by.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we don't have a whole lot left in our CMU careers.
It's true.
And we've been on technically kind of student council for the past
Technically,
2
Wittenberg
years.
Radio and WRTV.
Yeah.
Production of Student Council.
Yep. So we've been on student council for the past 2 years.
We have.
But something special is happening today. What was happening today, Chloe?
Oh, my goodness. All of those lovely, lovely people who want to become a part of Student Council next year, they gave some speeches. They tried to, sway that audience, persuade them for their votes. I'm ready to hear about it.
Yeah.
It might have been very dramatic. We'll find out.
You remember our speech? Our first
Our speech, we a lot of it was spoken in unison.
Yeah.
I remember that.
We color-coded some of the words. I remember that.
Yeah,
That was pretty classic. Yeah.
Speak in unison. That'll get you votes. Also,
Exactly,
nobody
yeah.
ran against us.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. I should have just made it
No,
seem
was more
like we just
impressive when we won rather than just
won
got
it.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of elections, student council things, we have with us today Nicholas Pauls Harder, our current student council prez.
Hello, Mr. President.
Hi there,
Yeah.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, you're here to give us a little recap on the speeches that happened today. Potentially talk a little bit about student council.
Yeah.
How did those speeches go today?
It went really, really well. I was really pleased. Had a good group of people in the Great Hall, all got together and ran through them. We had some great folio coffee, which was great. And there was just some phenomenal speeches that were really funny. And you guys should all go check them out.
Yeah.
And they
We
went
can
really
check
well.
them out?
Well, yes, there was a Zoom, and
Presumably.
we will get that footage and put it on our social media.
Awesome.
Around on our Instagram page and Facebook and all those good places.
Cool. So, were all the positions run for this year? Are any of them open? Are you making a call out for some more participants?
So the answer is no. Not everything was run for. So things like Faith in Life, that's still open. Anyone listening? Something like arts and entertainment, that is also still open.
That's a fun one. You get to plan all of the coffee houses and the events and the
It is a lot of
CMU
fun.
on-campus ragers.
Well, let's not say that, but yes.
All right. And another one is VP Finance is still open, actually.
Wow.
So
Money!
Really exciting.
unless you want somebody who is unqualified to handle the finances, you better run. I of course qualified in enough kind of way, but if you want your finances handled with care, with gusto,
right,
by a potential future business person, maybe?
Perhaps. So those kinds of things, we're still on the hunt. So if anyone's kind of thinking about it, you definitely reach out to us, reach out to me, and we will get you hooked up, and we'll see, maybe we hold another little election the beginning of next year, or we slide a next one in a couple of weeks. We'll work with people, and we want them to participate with us, so.
Cool. Yeah. Well, what are some of the perks of being on student council? Because I know that for some positions like VP Finance, which is still yet to be filled, that could look pretty great on a resume if you're a business student, right?
That's right. Yes, some perks. Good question. So, as it stands right now, there are no official monetary things. Probably a good thing.
You do get to use a budget.
That's true. You do get to use a budget for cool things that you and the student body can participate in. Often we'll send you little Valentine's cards. That's a huge perk.
That was great.
Obviously a big one as well as experience, right? You run the Doxa, you get experience designing, writing, managing a team.
Editing.
You do this, you get so much experience. I'm sure you guys have talked about that a lot.
We're so good at talking now.
So good at talking.
We talk so good now.
As you said, VP Finance, managing those finance, getting your hands dirty,
that
showing
dirty money.
Employers that no,
not dirty money. That very
Retract
clean,
that statement.
Get your hands dirty with the clean money.
Okay,
sorry.
And so, those things are really cool. And another thing that I hope to be working on next year is having a leadership credit. So maybe a little something that goes on your resume to show that that you did something.
That's an excellent idea.
And so that's still in the works. No promises, but we're looking into it for next year.
Lovely.
Presumably, assuming that you get elected. Who knows?
Ooh.
It's tough
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's a real
let's talk
tough one.
about that. Okay. So you are student council president currently.
That's right.
You are running to be student council president again.
With some tough competition.
Tough
It was.
competition, and that competition is that little box that says what?
It says
Abstain.
object or
Object.
abstain.
So it is
it's
Nicholas
just the
versus
void.
object.
Yeah. So it's me and the void.
that is actually
I'm-
tough.
We're up against some fierce competition.
I've really heard that void has some pull.
Some
Actually,
really some good policy platforms.
So, okay, so student council,
Yeah.
you were president this year. What
That's
were
right.
some of your highlights? What are you
Oh.
hoping to bring next year? All that good stuff.
Yeah, a good question. Well, especially now at the end of the year, I think we've kind of gotten our feet underneath us. I mean, I've gotten my feet underneath me. I think we've all gotten our collective foot underneath us.
Yeah, we were we on campus all year?
this year, yes.
Yes, this year.
This
Okay,
semester,
sorry.
Yeah. And so I think we're doing really, really cool things. Recently, we passed a motion to provide money to get CMU started up with free menstrual products in the washrooms. So we're participating in that. We're also looking at putting up some ways for students to show off their art around campus.
Oh.
We got some good places in mind, aka I haven't cleared this with anyone, so nobody. But what I kind of think of is, does everybody know when you're walking up to the bridge from south?
Yep.
Those blank white walls.
They're very blank and very white, yeah.
They're very blank, and we would like your art on there.
Ooh.
So
That'd be
there are
cool.
those kinds of things that are in the works and that are really, really exciting. And then, yeah, just getting CMU Life back up and running, doing coffee houses. We had an amazing last one.
Aw.
Was it about a month ago? Oh man, was that ever something? And just kind of like getting back to things and getting to be a part of kind of breathing life back into a community that hit pretty hard by COVID is exciting.
You hear that, Void? Did you hear that speech?
Void, yeah. I know who I'm
pretty,
voting for.
pretty persuasive.
Yeah.
Super persuasive. Well, what were some of the things that, in specific, this last year that you've done? And you mentioned menstrual products. That's a more recent kind of thing. Thinking back to maybe kind of the first semester, is there anything that kind of sticks out?
Yeah, good question. We had some kind of big conversations about moving around a student council room.
Right, yeah.
Those kind of stalled out, but we are going to move our room a little bit and get some bigger spaces down in South Basement, and we'll keep working with that. Another one is working with CMQ to make them a committee. That's really
Right.
exciting. To kind of build something with them that is a little bit more institutionally stable, that they feel has some heft to it. Those kinds of things, other kind of conversations, and I'm blanking a little bit right
That's
now.
okay.
No, that's fair.
It's
but
Friday.
Those
It's
are good.
Friday. It's true.
Those are good, important conversations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well,
I think we've heard what we wanted to hear. I think you gave a very good impression for future and potential voters, Is there any one message you want to leave our viewers with?
That's
What's your-
a really good. Dream big.
yeah.
Dream big.
Beautiful.
Dream far.
Yeah.
And get in contact. I love talking to people just for no reason or lots of reasons. So send an email off to Stuco exec. Our email should be somewhere on our Instagram, to chat, to flash your ideas past us. Not flash, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Oh,
So dream big, get involved. Exciting stuff.
Oh,
is that your campaign slogan? Dream
Nicholas
big.
It
Paul's
is right
harder.
now.
That's
Dream big.
great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So, all right.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
Nick.
thank you so
Thanks
much,
for
Nick.
having.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well,
Should we just keep the guests rolling?
we could just pull Sue in right now.
I say we just keep the guests and the good times rolling. You just
Yeah.
get in that chair, Sue. All right. welcome here.
I didn't realize this was live.
I know. Sorry. Maybe I should be more clear with my emailing.
And I probably missed the opportunity to go into the green room and have my makeup. And
Yeah, no,
haircut.
we have beverages. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All sorts of things. You didn't give us your rider either, so
Yeah, you're not getting paid for this, Sue.
Yeah.
it's not
It's
our
tough.
fault. All right.
Yeah, I hope you're
so,
not union.
Within the CMU community, Sue, you and the English department, you're known to host a variety of English-themed events. You got movie nights occasionally, all sorts of cool things. And then this coming Monday, you're hosting pop-up poetry in Folio, just right here behind us, to celebrate World Poetry Day and the beginning of spring. Is that the same day? That lines up so beautifully.
Yep, lots of stuff happening. Before I talk about that, I want to say that I was president of my student council.
Oh, wow. You hear that, Nick?
And I didn't run against the void.
You ran against
actually
real
had-
I ran
people.
against real
Wow.
people.
Wow.
And my slate was called The Positive Alternative.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I can't remember what the other slate was called.
Oh.
Anyways, I could talk about that for hours, but I won't. I will talk about pop-up poetry.
You are just a master poster creator too. There it is.
So we did this 3 years ago, before the pandemic, and we
Yes.
decided we were going to do this every year around the. So this is the second 3 years later.
Yep.
World Poetry Day is always March 21st. I don't know why it's World Poetry Day. The United Nations said it was. Why not?
Gotta listen to them.
There's other opportunities to celebrate poetry in April, which is Poetry Month, but then the students tend to be gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I read about this idea of having pop-up poetry, which is all based around typewriters, which, there aren't a lot of typewriters around anymore that still have ribbons and that still work, but there are a few. So I read that at another university, I just stole their idea that
Perfect.
they had done this. They just put, a bunch of typewriters down somewhere, and they had poets or professors, writing poems on demand, on the spot. Probably not very good poems. Who knows? Could be, but
But they're going to be great here.
they are going to
Yes,
be.
as compared to all that other university you
Yeah.
stole the idea
Right.
from.
Yeah.
Maybe. One of the things we realized when we did this the first time was that we actually had to find carbon paper, because if the poet wanted to keep a copy of the poem.
You would put it underneath.
Yeah, because you needed 2 copies. And in the old days, of course, once you pulled something out of the typewriter, it was gone.
Yeah.
You could photocopy it, but so because the whole idea is to give somebody a poem for free, and we are hoping that people will come up and say, could you write me a poem about mud puddles? Or,
Okay.
you could just say, write me a poem, but you could say, I'd like a poem about my new car, or about my grandma. Usually the poet, that when this happened before, the poets were really interested in engaging with, like, what kind of poem do you want? Do you want something in particular? And tell me about your vision for this poem.
Right.
And we did this before with 3 professional poets who all have books published.
Wow.
And 2 of them are coming back, or very eager to come back, Sally Ito and Ariel Gordon, who have both written
Both
lots and lots of
wonderful
poetry.
poets.
And they just love to engage with people. So, but we're going to have 3 typewriters here, so the third will be open.
Okay.
For faculty, for students. I myself don't want to do it because I am a poet, but the idea of doing poetry on demand I find quite terrifying. So my job is to get the typewriters up and running, so I was working on one of them today, and right now it doesn't type the letter A, so we're going to be looking for poems without the letter A.
Without the letter A.
You know what? I've seen poems like that. That can be
Yeah.
an artistic choice.
I think
right?
it'll be makes it better.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. Yeah.
Q and W. I was also having trouble with Q and W. This
Not a lot of words use those
there
letters.
was a lot of dust on this typewriter, so I think it's pretty clogged up with dust. But you don't need Q's and W's, for heaven's sakes.
No.
And we're going to be doing other things. We're going to do this from 11 to 1 on Monday, the 21st. There will also be some free cookies for the first people that come.
Free cookies.
But we're also going to have some blackout poetry. So
Yes,
do you guys
I read
know what
that.
blackout poetry is?
See, I do.
No
You?
idea.
So we need
No.
to explain
I
this
was
to Dan
talking
now.
I've never actually done blackout poetry, but I'm
Oh.
looking forward. So I've got an example here. This is a Turtle Island poet, Billy Ray Belcourt, who's a great poet. And in his book, Indian Coping Mechanisms, he took Treaty 8 and blacked out words. You can do this either randomly. You can black things out randomly to make sort of a spontaneous, perhaps absurd poem, or you can very conscientiously go through and black out things. So, for example, he ends up with the first page being the limits of representing Indian subjects and to arrange them, right? So he's done a lot of blackout to get the message that he wants out of Treaty 8.
I'm currently reading a blackout poetry book myself,
Yeah.
and it's by a journalist who took, it's called I Hope This Finds You Well. And she took all of her like critical and like terrible emails that she's received from readers, and she's made blackout poetry with them.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
cool.
So, I mean, the great things about blackout poetry is that, I mean, it's very easy to do. So Julie Godin and I are just going to print out a bunch of sheets and give people markers. And so you could get an endless number of poems from the same chunk of whatever. The thing that you borrow from can be quite random. Or you could very explicitly, take a fairy tale where you've got particular kinds of words. But it's endless, right? You could create sort of an infinity number of poems, I think, from blackout poetry. So that's just fun if people want to do that, or they can just come by and have a cookie, and maybe we'll get our visiting poets to declaim a poem on the spot. We haven't even asked them that, but poets, both Sally Ito and Ariel Gordon are usually pretty eager to talk about poetry and perform their poetry. So I bet I won't have to beg them.
Am I right? Sally teaches the creative writing poetry
Sally
class
teaches
here.
creative
Right.
writing here.
Yeah.
She teaches creative writing both in poetry, in nonfiction, and in short stories. And we have one of those every year.
Right.
So, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, Sue just answers all my questions.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're talking about.
I
Go
have a
for it,
question.
yeah.
Yeah. Why typewriters specifically?
I really don't know. I mean, I think it is to get us out of the mindset where it's too easy to edit, right? So with computers, I mean, I only got a computer when I was in my 20s, so I certainly started to write essays and poetry and stuff on typewriter. You can fix things on a typewriter, but it is much more difficult to move things around. So there is a permanence that makes you take the form more seriously. So I think it's partly like, let's take poems more seriously, but at the same time, it's also let's take poems less seriously. Did I say that right? More seriously plus less seriously, because if you're, pounding out poems in a few minutes on a typewriter with a bunch of people standing around bugging you, like it's going to be full of errors, right? It's going to be perhaps not very profound and mostly a little bit goofy. And I assume that the poets are just going to be pulling stuff out of the air.
Right.
So you're going to get pretty spontaneous stuff.
Yeah, like if I ask for a poem about my grandma, they don't know my grandma.
Yeah. So
How do you know that?
So
It's true, they might know my grandma. It's
So
a
I
small
do think
community.
that people have very strange ideas about poetry. They think that there's some secret, list of answers that people like me have somewhere. That these are what poems mean. It's in the back of a special book that Sue has and nobody
Right.
else has.
Yeah.
Poems are irrelevant. Poems are difficult. Poems always have to rhyme. All of that stuff. And poems can be pretty much anything you want them to be. I think poems are everything.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
just to
poems are everything.
Poems are everything. Everything is a poem, I think.
That was profound.
Yeah, so a day like this, and we're going to be right down there, easily accessible, will hopefully get people to just have fun with poetry, but to recognize that probably it isn't what they think it is. And I find as a professor that one of the funnest things I've ever done in my teaching career is to convince first-year students that poetry is not frightening.
Aw.
Right? They come in thinking like, poetry is a secret language. It's like reading Latin. I'm never going to get this. And I'm going like, that is not what it is. So, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Speaking, we've been talking about poetry. Sue, you have another book.
I brought a book called Good Poems just in case you needed me to fill time, and I would just read a poem at random.
I don't even think it's to fill time. I think I just want to hear a poem.
Yeah.
Would you like to read us just
Sure, and I
a
think-
poem, a good poem?
Yeah, and I think one of the things about World Poetry Day on March 21st, but also April, which is Poetry Month, a lot of it is about sort of committing random acts of poetry. Just go up to somebody and give them a poem, or recite a poem at them, or just, write a poem a day, even if you think you're not a poet. So this will be a random act of poetry because I've just brought a book called Good Poems, and I'm just going to open it at random.
I'm so
Nice.
excited.
And I have no idea what it will be.
Okay, here we go.
I'm excited.
Can you contain yourself, Dan? I
I
can't.
don't like that one.
Barely.
Oh, Happiness. That sounds good.
Aw.
I just broke the spine of this book.
Oh no.
It's good audio.
Happiness by Raymond Carver. Raymond Carver is mostly known as a short story writer.
Oh.
Happiness. So early, it's almost... Sorry, gotta do it again. I've never read this poem before. So early, it's still almost dark out. I'm near the window with coffee and the usual early morning stuff that passes for thought. When I see the boy and his friend walking up the road to deliver the newspaper, they wear caps and sweaters, and one boy has a bag over his shoulder. They are so happy they aren't saying anything, these boys. I think if they could, they would take each other's arm. It's early in the morning, and they are doing this thing together. They come on slowly. The sky is taking on light, though the moon still hangs pale over the water. Such beauty that for a minute, death and ambition, even love, doesn't enter into this. Happiness. It comes on unexpectedly and goes beyond, really, any early morning talk about it. I've never read that before.
That's beautiful.
I love this poem. See, random acts of poetry. This could change somebody's life.
You just changed mine.
Right? All the people who are watching.
All of the people who are
WRTV.
watching.
Yeah.
Can I
Wow.
ask how many people are watching right now?
Is your mom?
No, probably not.
Aw. Usually it's like, yeah.
4.
But people
Yeah.
go back and watch it afterwards
Do you
as well.
think that I will boost your ratings?
Yeah, 100%,
Yes.
Sue.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that a lot more people.
100%.
Well, we can clip this and give it to like CMU Press or something if you want to post things there.
I could splash it all over my very, very popular social media.
Yeah. Well, it is actually. I've seen your
Sue's
good
Twitter
tweets
is
and
one of
stuff.
my favorite
Yeah.
things in the entire
Honestly,
world.
can we
So here's
talk
a
for a
plug
second?
for Sue's Twitter.
Yeah,
Follow it.
honestly, any prof, any CMU prof or instructor that has Twitter is usually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Yep.
worth following.
Yeah.
But
Some of the other professors are doing sort of, politically important things on Twitter,
Oh,
but
yeah, okay,
I'm
well.
mostly
Us-
horsing around and, being an idiot.
that's kind of the same thing as
Yeah.
being politically active on Twitter, isn't it?
Oh, no.
I can say that because I feel like I'm politically active on Twitter. Anyways,
Let's stop Dan while he's ahead.
yeah. Am I ahead?
No.
I was just going to say that I remembered your idea of random acts of poetry reminded me that a week ago I performed my own random act of poetry for the people working in the COVID testing area for CMU, and I was I'm glad that I'm helping contribute to this movement, even though I wasn't aware of it.
So
Yeah.
what did you do exactly?
Yeah.
I recited Shakespeare to them.
Of course you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was the response
Oh,
like?
they were odd, flabbergasted. Yeah.
Standing ovation.
No, not quite. They were a little stunned, but they were asking for it. So.
All right. Well,
Stunned is good.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Sue. I hope many people come to this event. That's tomorrow, tomorrow,
not
sorry,
tomorrow.
Monday. Monday. That is here in Folio. I mean,
Yep.
at least come for the cookies.
Yep. A shout out to Dante Regier, who is
Dante.
we have an English department assistant this year. We don't always have that.
Okay.
So Dante has also been helping me with movies. And we are going to have some more movies in the exam period. We're going to show musicals on Wednesday nights.
Wow. Wow.
Wonderful. Nice
So-
little teaser.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yep. All right.
Thank you for
Do I
joining
get
us.
up out of this chair now?
You can get out of the chair if you'd like, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue.
Bye.
Poetry.
Poetry,
Poetry.
art,
Art.
it's everywhere.
Oh, poetry is everything. Everything is poetry. If I've been left with anything,
Incredible. Yeah.
that's it. That's probably a
Yeah.
poem right there. Someone write that
Yeah,
down.
is this where we end the stream?
No, we're not
Yeah,
ending the
okay,
stream.
okay.
We gotta go. We gotta talk about the daily.
I know, it was a joke.
We gotta talk about what's going on.
Yeah, what is going on, Chloe?
What is going on? All right.
Do you want me to?
I will start. I'm so
Okay,
excited.
okay.
Reintroducing Estamos, a semester of living, learning, and working in Guatemala.
Yeah.
CMUers are going back to Guatemala.
Yep.
Come to one of their next info sessions to learn about how you can earn 12 credit hours in CMU's new intercultural program next year. So this is next Wednesday at 12 p.m. in room CO9. And I think you can also attend online, but if you have questions, you can contact Tim Cruikshank.
Yep. I mean, we plugged this a little bit last week as well, but exciting stuff to see that Guatemala is coming back into the frame of CMU learning and things like that. This is kind of going off of what Nick said earlier, but if you love Blaurock Cafe, it's also connected to CMU Student Council, and they're looking for a bunch of Blaurock managers. So if you love the Blaurock Cafe, you can now be a Blaurock manager. You have to fill out a super awesome Blaurock manager application form, and the deadline to apply is April 1st. Which is not an April Fool's. It's just that's the deadline.
But it's a true fact.
It's a fact.
Okay.
But if you have any questions about the form or the Blau, feel free to ask Rain Archer at her email's in the daily there. So go and check out the daily.
Yeah.
If you're interested in.
This is
the
also
Blau.
very, very important. Dan,
Yes.
voluntary withdrawal deadline is Monday, March 21st.
Yep.
So if something's just not going quite right,
Well,
and you need to get out of it. March 21st is that withdrawal date.
There's no shame in dropping it.
No. And this is so you can receive no academic penalty for
You don't end up
dropping
with
a class.
that F on that.
Yeah,
transcript
so if you
don't come
want
any
to
more
talk to
classes.
someone about it, do it. So you can book an appointment with an advisor today. You can meet with Lisa Richard or Gina Lowen, and their information is also in the Daily.
Yep. And then I guess we talked last week as well.
We talked,
about
we talked to Levi, but
Levi and the
but
the
Levi
volleyball
needs
team.
our help.
Levi needs our help. Somebody's fallen in the river in Lego Town, and Levi needs our help.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but like we know, men's volleyball is heading to the nationals, and I think all of the teams just got confirmed that are going there.
Woo! Yeah, schedule's up there too.
Yeah, but they need some funding support. So this Sunday, there are tickets available. Well, the tickets are available now for an event this Sunday at Boston Pizza. It's a little Boston Pizza booster, and they're available from team members or athletic staff and team members of the volleyball team, of course. And tickets cost $10. We'll get you 10 tickets for the silent auction raffle, which will include Blazers gear prize packs, which is
rep
not
the
something I need,
Blazers.
but other people who are not athletes might be interested in
It's
that.
some good stuff.
Yeah, a Jets prize pack, which is kind of fun, and more. And all proceeds will go towards player and program costs for attending this tournament.
Very exciting stuff.
Huge. Yeah.
Right. And that concludes the Daily.
The Daily
But
Weekly.
you know us.
Yep.
We got some spicy takes we need
Yeah.
to share before we leave.
The classical quick wit
Yeah,
here.
some quick wit time.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your quick wit for the day?
Oh boy. Okay, my quick wit isn't super spicy.
Okay.
But it's kind of more of a, I don't know, getting it out there.
Get it out there.
There's going to be, so at the end of the year, athletics, CMU Athletics has a banquet at the end for all the athletes. And this year is the first year in 13, 14 years without Russ Wilms to have this. So Kara Isaac is taking over and is
Doing an excellent job,
doing
by
an
the way.
excellent job, yeah, setting up this banquet. And there are some new awards this year that are going
Ooh.
ahead. And so she asked some advice from some of the senior athletes or some of the bigger figure athletes and some of the teams, and collectively they came up with an award called the Russell Wilms Award.
No.
Yeah.
Is this real?
This is real.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the Russ
I'm
Wilms
so
Award.
excited.
Yeah, that brings the spirit of Russ Wilms, energy, curiosity, that kind of wholesome.
I feel like I'm not going to breathe, but I'm going. Okay.
So, yeah, but that kind of Russ Wilms energy, that kind of really welcoming.
So enthusiastic.
Yeah,
Yes.
welcoming, enthusiastic energy.
Passionate.
Yeah, there's going to be
Yeah.
an award for the person that brings that to the Blazers.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet.
I also think it's a really great way to honor Russ.
That's okay. Here, another new thing coming to the athletics banquet. This is my quick wit. So I've heard, little birdie told me that each team is going to do some sort of little performance or something.
Oh, performance.
Or just like something, presentation. It can be anything. That's what
Okay.
we were told.
Oh boy, well you got told something. So the volleyball team's doing a performance, soccer team is not.
No, not necessarily. But this is my quick wit. One of the teams needs to do a choreographed dance.
Okay.
I just need to see that so badly.
I think I wonder if this is going to be live streamed. I don't actually know if it is.
I
But
don't
if it is,
know.
then absolutely.
I don't know. But I need to see one of these sports teams just do the most beautiful choreographed dance.
And if they do, then they win the Russ Wilms Award.
That probably is how it should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun.
End of the year, man. It's coming.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so close.
Do we have one more WRTV?
I think we got one more, maybe two more.
I think we got one more in us. Daryl
We
goes,
got one
"Huh?"
or two more. We got one or two more left in us.
Yeah. So with that being said, we will see you. We think we will see you next
Well,
time.
you will see us next week. Hope maybe the week after that.
Maybe
We'll
the week
see,
after that. We'll see you next time.
We'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.